Empire of Light is written and directed by Oscar winner Sam Mendes, starring Olivia Colman, Michael Ward, Toby Jones and Colin Firth. It's the story of a English seaside cinema set in the early 1980s. It's a love story and it's a tribute to the art of cinema as well. Olivia Colman plays the role of Hilary. She's struggling with loneliness, depression. She has some mental health problems as well. And it's all about her connection with the staff. Colin Firth plays the randy manager of this cinema. Before long, a new member of staff arrives, Stephen, played by Michael Ward. And a friendship and romantic relationship flourishes between both him and Hilary. There's also elements of racism in the film as well as mental health. But it is a love letter to cinema. The thing about this film is where this film was made, I know it. I grew up visiting it in the early 80s. It's filmed in Margate seafront. The old Dreamland cinema on the seafront is the centrepiece for this film. The Dreamland signs were removed for the making of the film so that they could put up the name Empire as, that's the Empire Cinema. So all these sites along Margate seafront are very familiar. I've known them for decades. As I say, in the 80s, I grew up with my brother, and we used to go to Dreamland on a yearly basis several times. So as you see in the film, they do visit an amusement park, which is Dreamland. In the 80s, later part of the 80s, they renamed it Ben Bon Brothers White Knuckle Theme Park because it was bought out. But over the years now, it has gone back to its original name of Dreamland, and they even have the roller disco featured in the film as well, which is inside Dreamland. As I say, the film is a love story between Hilary and Stephen, but also cinema as well. Toby Jones plays the projectionist in this cinema, and it's all about the experience of going to the cinema. Don't watch films on your phone, on your iPad. I know a lot of us watch films at home on our big setups, but there is nothing like the theatrical experience. And this shows us that the art of the cinema should not be lost, and that it's a precious thing. And there's nothing better in the world than to go sit in the cinema, watch a film with all these other people, munching on popcorn with the occasional glaring phone. It was a love letter to cinema. Now, the actual making of the film itself, the front of the actual Dreamland cinema, obviously they did it up. They did it up, made it look really, really good, with the Empire name and paint job and everything like that. As for the interior, though, the actual foyer, although it's based on the Dreamland Cinema's foyer, they actually constructed it in a building about 3 or 4 buildings further down on the seafront. They had to build it from scratch because it wasn't feasible to actually redo the foyer in the actual cinema itself. There is also a scene where Hilary and Stephen witness New Year's fireworks standing up on the roof, and as you can see in the photos, that was actually done, and you can see right out over Margate Beach. They also constructed lights all the way around the actual seafront to give it that seaside town Blackpoolish type of illumination, and the filmmakers actually gifted those lights to Margate But unfortunately, Margate Council decided to remove them because I think they thought the uptake and restoration and things like that and the energy costs, running costs would be too expensive. So unfortunately, they removed them. Overall, the film was really good. It brought back a lot of memories of my childhood, visiting this place, you know, every year. It was great to see it as a working cinema, you know, which hasn't been seen for a couple of decades now. There is a strong hope that Dreamland Cinema will actually be brought back, with there's restoration going on, and there has been for quite a long time. But whether or not it ever gets back to its full glory of being a working cinema, who knows? Performances were brilliant. Olivia Colman, absolutely fantastic. Whether she switches from this timid, depressed, lonely woman at the start of the film and turns into kind of like a homicidal, axe-wielding kind of character near the end of the film when she's struggling with her mental health, it shows the full range of her character. There were some touching scenes with Toby Jones as he reminisces about his son that he's not seen for many years. And Michael Ward playing Stephen, he did a really great job. Now, I went to see this at my local View Cinema, which is down in Broadstairs, on the Broadstairs, Ramsgate, which is about a 10-minute drive from Margate. And it was absolutely packed. It was like 12 o'clock in the afternoon. It was midday, barely an empty seat, and it was a large screen. And I think a lot of the people that went to see it were locals, because, you know, every now and again when something came on screen that we all are familiar with, it was like, look at that, oh. So yeah, that was really nice to see. But it certain scenes in the film sparked memories. Walking along the seafront, there's this big kind of like concrete pool which has been part of Margate seafront for as long as I can remember, and in the film you see Stephen and Hilary standing on the concrete and skipping stones into it. Well, I used to canoe in that. Yeah, we used to canoe and swim in it back in the day. We did have a pier there at Margate. It's not been there for many decades now, and I remember going along that with my nan and granddad, putting the half peas in the slot machines. And unfortunately, you know, things change over the years, and the seafront is not as electrifying as it used to be, you know, like it was back in the 80s, where arcade after arcade and bright shining lights, you know, Vegas style, and a lot of them are like all closed up now, you know, because people have moved away from that type of thing. But back in the day, it was a real bustling place to go to. I mean, Margate Beach still gets really busy during the summer, and I visited there. You remember I visited there on one of my previous videos. I'll put a link down in the description to that video when I did some Blu-ray hunting in Margate, but I also went along the seafront and showed you some sights. So yeah, go back and have a look at that video. But as for a film, you know, that's got no explosions, no aliens, no people jumping off mountains and all that kind of stuff, it's a really low-key love story that just shows great acting in the film. And I never got bored one moment. You know, the character moments were absolutely fantastic, and seeing all these sights again was, you know, truly remarkable. How would I rate Empire of Light on a scale of 1 to 10? I'm going to give it 8 out of 10. I used to go in there. Yes. I've thoroughly enjoyed the film. I'm definitely going to buy it on 4K when it comes out. But I had a real good time. I think everybody in the cinema had a real good time watching it. But like I say, I think most of the people that were in the cinema were locals around the area, and probably a lot of Margate residents. But anyway, that is my review for Sam Mendes' Empire of Light. I'm going to throw in a few clips in a minute of footage that I took before I went to see the film yesterday morning. And you can see some of the sights, you can see the actual cinema itself. And I'll give you a little bit of information and a little bit of history on the cinema as well. There we go. So that is my review of Empire of Light. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Like it by giving it some thumbs up. Blah, 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 blah. Don't forget to subscribe, comment and share. And stick around and watch some video of the filming location and a bit of history on the actual Dreamland cinema. Built on the site of the 900-seat Dreamland Variety Theatre of 1923, which was later renamed Dreamland Cinema, it was adjacent to the massive Dreamland amusement park on Marine Terrace. The new Dreamland Super Cinema opened on the 22nd of March 1935 with Greta Garbo in The Painted Veil and Lauren Hardy in Them Thar Hills. Architects Julian Rudolph Leithart and W.F. Granger came together for the final time. They mutually dissolved their partnership after Dreamland was completed. The spectacular frontage of the cinema was the first of its kind in Britain, having a huge fin tower which gives the building prominence from the great distance along the shoreline. There was a large cafe which had windows giving a view out to sea. Additional facilities included bars and a ballroom. Inside the auditorium, seating was provided for 1,328 in the stalls and 722 in the balcony. The interior design was by John Bird Isles, son of the owner of the complex, and sculptures of sea nymphs set into the recesses each side of the auditorium were the work of Eric Ormanor. The cinema had a fully equipped stage and has a 40-foot wide proscenium. It was equipped with a Western electric sound system. There is a Compton Notarum 4-manual 19-rank theatre organ with illuminated console and a grand piano attached, which was opened by organist Louis Gerard. The cinema was closed from 1940 due to the war and didn't reopen until the 1st of July 1946. The Dreamland Cinema was twinned and reopened on the 22nd of April 1973 with two cinemas in the former balcony which seated 378 and 376. The former stalls area became a live theatre using the full facilities of the stage. However, the live theatre was not a success and closed on the 11th of January 1975 and was converted into a bingo hall. A third screen seating 60 persons and using video projection was created in what had previously been the balcony bar area. This opened on the 10th of May 1981 and continued until closing in 1993 when the Dutch firm Bembom Brothers took over the running of the cinema and the amusement park. It remained open with bingo in the former stalls where the Compton organ was still occasionally used for concerts. The two cinemas remained open in the former circle area and were operated by a small independent chain, Real Time Cinemas. Sadly, they were closed on the 1st of November 2007 following closure of the bingo club operation in the former stalls area earlier in the year. Restoration of the exterior was begun in February 2011 and repairs to the building began in earnest in June 2011. Restoration of the exterior was completed in summer of 2017 and yellow neon has been installed to highlight the building. In 1992, Dreamland Cinemas was designated a Grade 2 listed building by English Heritage. In early May 2008, the building was upgraded to Grade 2 listed. In March 2022, planning permission was granted to remove the original Dreamland signage from the exterior of the building for it to be temporarily replaced by the name Empire. This was due to the building being featured as the location for the filming of Empire of Light, a love story set in a seaside cinema, directed by Sam Mendes and starring Olivia Colman and Colin Firth. Some scenes were also filmed in the interior where other small temporary changes were made. Filming was completed on the 15th of May 2022 and all original fittings and signage were fully reinstalled.